Of 9 Anglo-Aussie Test deciders on English soil, 6 of the winners have been the side that lost the first Test. Is this then the day for Great Britain? 40,000 people are in here. They hope to witness history. 38 years since our last home series win against the old enemy. So Ellen Road in Leeds awaits for its moment in time. Here at Ellen Road, and 40,000 British souls now expect. They expect Andy Farrell to become the first man since Frank Myler in 1970 to lift the trophy after an Anglo-Aussie Test Series victory. A date with destiny, and you can enjoy it all with us here live on Sky Sports. It's a pleasure, it's a privilege to be here. Two sides who know it's death or glory over the next 80 minutes. And look at the determination etched on the face of Andy Farrell, Alan Hunt, Paul Broadbent, Chris Radlinski and company as you go down that line of British internationals. But the Aussies look focused also. This will be an almighty collision. The two biggest rugby league playing nations in the entire world come face to face, and the destiny of the 1997 British Gas Test Series lies in their hands. Now we have the national anthems of both these nations.
Golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is girt by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing. Advance Australia fair.
Leon Cronin with Advance Australia Fair, the Aussie national anthem. And now it's the turn of Anita Madigan.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save our Queen.
A wonderful, wonderful Ellen Road atmosphere for this deciding test.
Let's hear it, come on!
They have been stoking the boilers in West Yorkshire all day, and now they're about to raise the roof. Andy Farrell, 6 goals last week, equals the Neil Fox record for a British player in a test match at home against the Aussies. 9 goals in the series so far, equal the best British achievement by a kicker at home. Jim Sullivan, 1933, George Fairburn, 1978. 22 points in the series also. Jason Robinson, aiming to become the first Briton to score in all 3 tests against Australia since Gary Schofield last achieved the feat in 1986.
Number 5, Wendell Saylor.
Match referee, who you feel will have to keep a lid on things here early doors, Phil Houston from New Zealand, who's been in charge for the 3 tests, and this decider is underway. Australia will have the first use of the football, and this is the biggest match, as Bradley Clyde is clattered to the ground by the British chasers, the biggest match that we've had in these shores for 3 years. Australia making their intentions known. They're trying to run the ball early. Big tackle coming in there from Paul Sculthorpe. We thought they would try and get the ball out wide, and Steve-O, right from the start, Australia running it and taking Britain on.
Interesting move there. You saw Laurie Daly go outside the centre. Obviously the coach, John Lang, wants him to go out wide. And the return of Ryan Girdler, that's a great plus for the Australians.
That's a lovely kick through from Laurie Daly. He's looking for Nagas. Oh, Nagas gets it! Gets round Aitchison, and what a start for the Aussies! What a start for Australia. Nagas with the try. The ball was floated into open space. Aitchison came lolloping over, but he wasn't quick enough. Nagas was, and Nagas gets the try. What a blow for Britain.
The killer punch, the kick early in the tackle count. Over the top. You could see that there was no sweeper. Aitchison gets through. They were really caught flat-footed there, but wonderful tactics by the Australian. Nagas, what a tremendous take there. Ball out wide. The combination, Gower to Daly. And you can see that the wingman was well and truly out of position there. It was a gamble they took early in the tackle count. And Nagas comes up with a bonus. What a start for the Australians. The defence was there, it was solid, but there was nobody sweeping. They did not expect that. This guy did. Tremendous finish. What superb tactics by the Australians. The Elland Road fans are absolutely stunned.
Nagus with the try then, the Canberra Raiders winger, 16 tries for his club, 11 tries in the World Club Championship, including 6 against Halifax. So a perfect start, and Ryan Girdler with that success rate of 90% this year, Girdler will surely add the extra 2 points, and he does. Australia off to a flying start here at Elland Road. They lead by 6 points to 0.
Solid defence, you key up there. We can see circle way back is Paul Aitchison. There's no winger gone back. They did not anticipate this. Superb tactics though. Full credit to the Australians. They mean business today. We saw early in the tackle count that the ball went out wide. Laurie Daly switching outside the centres, and then a beautiful kick by the Australian captain.
Not a bad kick-off either. The kick-off sailing out on the bounce, so Great Britain with head and feet at the scrum. They have possession, and here now is Newlove, and if it wasn't a big enough task before this match kicked off, with only 3 minutes gone, it's awesome now for Great Britain, and this is a real test of British Bulldog spirit and character. The ball wasn't played properly there by the number 10 Paul Broadbent. That's 4 tackles gone. They've only made 11 metres. It's strong defence from Australia. Farrell will hoist a kick downfield. He turns Lockyer around. Where are the Britain chasers? Well, it's going to be too deep anyway.
Well, that's the idea, to try to turn around Lockyer to full back. But as you could see, it was just a little bit too strong. Australia won't be too keen to restart. They'll make sure that they get back and settle things down. But I must say the Australian defence has been very solid. The 2 prop forwards, Stevens and Thorne, they mean business.
It has to be that one of the quickest tries in Anglo-Aussie Test match history. We made it 45 seconds before Australia, in the shape of Ken Nagus, were over the line. Better defence. McDermott ripping the jersey off the Australian. But now Britain are caught offside at the play of the ball. It was Jason Stevens who had the tackle, and Daly takes a quick tap. Daly trying to catch Britton Cole. Joint was alive to it. Good job he was too.
Well, they had their backs turned there. Daly really was quick.
Smith puts the ball down. Britain breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, they take the knock on. Now, is he claiming that the ball was taken out from Farrell?
No, he's got the knock on, but is it first or second? Because he's given head and feet here to Australia.
Well, I don't know how he's got that. He must have dropped the ball. Who's forward? Darren Smith. Well, that is amazing.
Well, Australia certainly lost it, but Britain obviously came up with a knock-on as well. So this is more pressure for the British defence.
But you've got to take the first knock-on, and that came from Darren Smith.
I would have thought so. Here's Wendell Saylor. Good tackle by McDermott. Lowe's was in there as well, the Bradford Bulls double act, but this is Thorne. And Thorne was got to by Adrian Morley and by McDermott. That's 3 tackles gone. These are dangerous moments again for Britain as Gower switches out wide to Daly. Daly then to Tallis, and Tallis is drilled to the ground by 3 British defenders. But they're so close, Australia. Daly the magician, there's Clyde. And it was good tackling again by McDermott and Lowe's. They're working hard in defence. Walters at dummy half, to Gower, to Daly. Daly looking for the kick again, there it is. But Hunt this time had read the script. And Hunt gets away from 2.
Tremendous work by the winger there, anticipated the kick. He's coming out with all the tricks though as the Australian skipper, Laurie Daly. He done it twice there before he put that kick in. That meant that the defence was moving up that extra 2 metres.
Here's Paul Broadbent, who had such a magnificent match at Old Trafford, but that's great tackling again from Ettingshausen, helped out by Nagus. There's Joint. He makes no ground before he is cut to ground. Now Goulding gives it to Farrell. Farrell then helps it along to Sculthorpe, and Sculthorpe gets past his opposite number Smith, but it was Gordon Tallis who was there waiting for him to bring him down in the tackle. Goulding with the kick over the top of Nagus. That's a great kick from Goulding. And it will stand up in the in-goal area. Now the British chase. There it is, the wall has arrived, and Nagus is grabbed by Newlove.
Great kick there by Bobby Goulding. The chase was equal to the kick. They've got to force pressure now. make sure the Aussies come up with a mistake, not give away a silly penalty, get back to 10 quickly and get off the man quickly. You could see Daly claiming to the referee that he was being prevented from playing that football.
7 minutes of the test match gone. The decider, Australia with a crucial 6 points to nil advantage. Gordon Tallis roundly booed by everyone at Ellen Road when he gets the ball. Morley got to him for the tackle. Walters spins the ball off the ground. Here's Daly again. He's kicking once more over the head of Aitchison. Aitchison this time with a little more petrol in the tank. Gets back and picks it up. Ettingshausen though gets to him. Wonderful defensive play from the Australian centre.
Wasn't going to be caught there, the full-back Aitchison. Was more in the centre of the field there, anticipating the kick.
Andy Goodway on the right, Sean McRae on the left, the British coaching duo who plotted the downfall of the Aussies at Old Trafford. Can they do the same here at Ellen Road? Britain are certainly roaring into their task. 6 minutes gone though, and 7.5 minutes gone rather. The Aussies ahead by 6 points to nil, and that's Paul Broadbent.
The referee Phil Houston having trouble getting the Australians back to full 10.
Here's Farrell. Nowhere though for Farrell to go this time. Great defence again. Almost inevitably Bradley Clyde was there. Now this is Chris Joint. Good step from Joint, but he couldn't get away from Thorne. Walters was in there also. Now Lowe's. That's a lovely run from Lowe's. Still going Lowe's. Still going Lowe's. Terrific play from Lowe's, and well done Darren Smith for coming back and dropping on the ball in the in-goal area.
That's what we want. The hooker James Lowe's taking on the defence, but superb cover tackle getting back there. Darren Smith. They got to him. You can see Lockyer didn't want to take the man without the football, the loose forward, but this was superb play. 2 little toe kicks there, and what great cover defence by Darren Smith.
I can tell you that James Lowe's is a fanatical Leeds United supporter, and he, of course, used to play here at Ellen Road in his Hunslet days, so he knows this place. He knows every blade of grass at Ellen Road, and he wants a big display here. And Britain now have a penalty for a man coming in over the top. And Brad Thorne then wags a finger at the referee and has a word.
See the swinging arm, you don't have to make contact. Well spotted by the official. I mentioned earlier that the Australians are not going back the full 10. They're just about a half a yard in front of the official Houston. Well, he's not happy with it. A bit prop forward, Brad Thorne, but it was quite clear to everybody at this ground that there was a swinging arm. Probably disappointed that he did not make contact.
Andy Farrell successfully 76% in Super League this year, but 9 from 11 in this test series thus far. John Lang, the Australian coach, his team got off to a flying start. Great Britain, to their eternal credit, after conceding a try in the opening minute, have dug deep for the last 9 and have got the opportunity here, courtesy of the boot of the captain, to get the scoreline ticking. That's the angle that Andrew Farrell has. Important kick this. It'll settle Britain's nerves. Farrell is cool as the proverbial cucumber under pressure, and he's got his team on the board, importantly. 2 points to 6.
2 vital 2 points there for Great Britain, but it's runs like this and individual skills like this from Lowe's. That's what's needed. That will have lifted their confidence no end. There's little doubt that Britain were caught napping. The kick from Daly early on the tackle count, Nagus' try, but full credit, they are fighting back.
So here come the Australians again in the shape of Bradley Clyde, one of the finest forwards in the world. This is his 3rd consecutive decider in Anglo-Aussie Test.
From Morley, and the referee has got him. Going high. We mentioned before the game that there was quite a few, went very close to the mark. That's one of them. The clash between Adrian Morley and Gordon Tallis last week was quite outstanding. For mine, I thought Morley was the man of the match. His defence was so crucial.
Morley, of course, playing in the city where he earns his corn with the Leeds Rhinos. But this is Ellen Road, this is a test match, it's the white-hot heat of a decider. 11.5 minutes gone. Great Britain defending the run. And it's with Ettinghausen, lovely ball out the back door to Negus. Negus brushes away from Joint, not the best pass.
Surely a knock on.
No, referee says play on. Here's Lockyer. Lockyer back to Wendell Saylor. Saylor is surrounded and eventually goes to ground.
Well, we saw the importance there of the introduction of Bradley Clyde. The second phase of attack came from Ettinghausen.
Here's Daly, he saw a gap, and Lowe's got to him with help from Joint as well. Now Britain must get off the grounded player. They do. Walters gives it to Lockyer, who hoists the bomb. And here's the first test for Aitchison under the high ball. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Tannis will have it. He gives it to Clyde, and Clyde sends it out to Negus, and Negus gets over, but the referee has got them for a forward pass. No try.
They were fortunate, Great Britain. They stood around. You cannot let the ball just bounce like that. They had plenty of protection. Paul Aitchison, this is the one that was forward, little doubt about it. But again, we see the skills of Bradley. This was awful. They just stood around looking at each other. You can't afford to do that in any game, never mind a test match. And they are very fortunate, Britain. You've got to go for the football.
Well, Aitchison came and stopped, and then came and stopped again. The ball bounced. And it was havoc for Great Britain's defence then.
It's a full-back's call. He overrides everything when it's up in the air like that. He's so tall, is Aitchison. It's got to be his.
Farrell is tackled brilliantly by Daly. Here now is Robinson. He scoots away from dummy half. Tries to get away from Darren Smith. Can't. And Jason Stevens in there quickly too. Of course, we should have welcomed our viewers down under in Australia and New Zealand, watching this decider down there. Channel 9 in Australia, of course. We welcome you to Elland Road, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the opening 13.5 minutes, as have the viewers to Sky in New Zealand. But well, it'll be a patriotic call again from Steve-O and myself during the course of this match. I'm sure you will excuse us. But at the moment, the Australians ahead by 6 points to 0, and Lockyer in possession. A nothing kick really from Goulding. 6 points to 2. 6 points to 2, the Aussies ahead.
Poor kick there. You could see that the fullback Lockyer got over the halfway line. You can't afford to do that. You've got to try at least keep these Australians in their own half with a kick.
Walters gets the ball away to Thorne. Now this is Tallis. Tallis is almost through, and Great Britain stick to him like glue. Morley was there, so too Sculthorpe. Tallis looked at the referee, thought about a penalty, non-forthcoming, so this now is Saylor, and Saylor stands and gets it away to Lockyer, and they've got space out here once more for Negus, and Negus is collared but gets the pass away to Lockyer brilliantly, and brilliantly then into Gower, and Gower then to Saylor, who's all wrapped up by Farrell. Great defence from the British captain.
He took a big gamble, took a ball and all tackle. They had an overlap out wide, the Aussies.
Daly gets the pass away. The ball comes back on the inside. There are green and golds everywhere, but it is the red, white and blue of Paul Sculthorpe who comes up with the football for Britain.
Trying to force a pass when they didn't really need it. Australians usually settle things down, not for the kick. They've got great kickers out there, including Laurie Daly. They won't be impressed with that, their coach John Lang, trying to force a pass when it's not on.
3 tackles gone for Great Britain. They've made 16 metres in this particular set, and the possession is overwhelmingly Australia's. James Lowes again now, gives it to Goulding. Goulding back on the inside to Broadbent, who willingly again takes it up and takes the tackle, the last. Goulding again, floats the kick over the top, trying to turn Australia around, but it goes out on the full.
Well, the option perhaps was on the blind side, but you could see that Goulding, rather than go to the defence to commit them and maybe a chip over the top, he kicked far too early and far too long.
Joe Lydon, Steve-O, the Rugby League technical director, was on the field before the kick-off. He was a little concerned by the fact that from positions like that, the players really can't see the touch lines. There's a huge camber on this Elland Road surface.
Well, it's same for both sides.
Of course.
And Bobby Goulding usually has a better kicking game than that. It was a wasted effort.
Here now is Gower. Gower attacking them. Going down a blind alley, though. 4 tackles gone. Britain have 2 more to survive. And it's with Daly, and Daly brings it back on the inside. It bounces off the head of one, bounces off the arm of a Great Britain player, and that'll be a knock-on against Britain.
You can see the arm just come out there. And it was the prop forward, Brian McDermott, so that'll be a head and feet to the Aussies. The crowd don't like it, but the official is correct. It doesn't have to hit the ground, even though it hit the opposition, which was Darren Smith. It was definitely the knock on.
Well, this is danger now for Britain because Lockyer has it and he gives it to Wendell Sailor, and Wendell Sailor with all the strength in the world. Now, has he got the ball down? I don't think he has. He has. The referee's given it. The ball was certainly on the chest of Sailor, but did he get the ball down as he went over the line? Phil Houston thinks he did.
No doubt about it. He plumped that ball down. Great upper strength. Nice switch to the blind side. You can see they were slow there. Lockyer made the extra man. Once Radlinski made it, there's nothing that the loose forward Skulthorpe could do without that. There was no doubt about him plonking that ball down. Wonderful move there. You can see Radlinski, why on earth he wasn't square in the one line of defence. As soon as he commits himself, Lockyer swings it back on the inside. You see Goulding and Robinson getting in the way of each other. And look at that upper body strength. That is quite superb. Magnificent try. That is one wonderful effort. Back on the inside. Two players get in front of each other. This is just outstanding. Second effort, the pumping of the leg, upper body strength gets him over. No doubt about it for mine.
No doubt either for referee Phil Houston. Wendell Sailor gets the second Australian try here at Ellen Road. The crowd, I can tell you, watched the big screen here and watched the replays and weren't convinced until they saw the last one, and they knew then that the ball had been plonked down over the line. Now this is a test for Girdler, but if anyone can kick them, this fella can. But not on this occasion. Australia lead though by 10 points to 2.
They came out pretty quick. You see Lockyer running the angle, and you see Radlinski, he just hesitates for a moment. Instead of moving forward, he takes half a backward step. And it was always going to create problems. What a great kick too.
Yes, again, Australia finding touch. Goulding not interested. Andy Goodway, the British coach, watching from on high here at Ellen Road. Perfect view for him. But not a great view if he looks at the scoreboard, because the Aussies are ahead by 10 points to 2. Goulding gets the possession from the scrum inevitably and gives it to Hunt.
To be fair to the Australians, they are extremely inventive. That's going to be a penalty.
Oh, he's given a knock
given
on.
a knock on. Dear me, where are the touch judges on this? You can see as he spins through, his arms in there, and it's obviously tried to be pulled away as Tallis came away from that.
Well, here's another opportunity for Australia. Daly is clobbered. But here's Sailor. That's better. Sailor loses that. That was a terrific challenge. And McDermott gets a big slap on the back from his captain, Andy Farrell.
And rightly so. Britain really needed the possession. Lifted him up, drove the shoulder through.
Well, that will lift the spirits, maybe. It certainly lifted the spirits on the terraces. Here's Lowe's, now Broadbent. Oh, and he slips the pass away as he falls to McDermott. But McDermott can make no ground at all. Now Robinson can.
We're still having trouble, though, getting into the Australian half.
Penalty, second effort.
This will help. You can see the prop forward, Jason Stevens. Just a little tug there.
And he gets marked 10 metres as well for back chatting. So this is a real opportunity for Great Britain now.
Now then, do they have a set move?
Well, they had plenty at Old Trafford. Where are they for Ellen Road? Farrell, out wide it goes to Newlove. Newlove stretching the defence out wide. Smith in there very quickly. Great run from deep, that was, by Morley. Morley gets Britain to within 3 metres of the line. Lowe's spins it back this way. Here's McDermott. McDermott trying to squirm his way over. Hauled back by 3 defenders. Good tactics from Walters. Lowe's then to Goulding. Goulding hoists the kick out wide, looking for Alan Hunt. And he comes up with it, does Radlinski, brilliantly. Brilliant catch by Radlinski. Here's Farrell. Farrell dabs it through.
Very fortunate there. Nice option from the English skipper. But Lockyer slipped at that final moment. Just went that way. Clyde just ducking under a few, but what a take by Radlinski. Superb jump.
Like a salmon. But Australia have got the ball back. Oh, that ball was stolen. Got to be a penalty.
But what on earth are you going to do that right in front of the official? That is not using your brains. Let the marbles settle down. Stop rolling. Look at this. straight in front of the referee. We know we accuse him of being blind at times, but that was just offering Australia a penalty on the platter.
And it takes so much pressure off Australia doing things like that.
We've only been in their quarter. They're attacking red zone on 4 occasions throughout this game so far. You cannot win a game of rugby league with stats like that.
Stevens on the halfway line. He plays the ball to Walters, who gives it then to Tallis.
Well, they're using Tallis as a battering ram. You see he's attracting 4 would-be tacklers.
Here's Bradley Clyde. That's what Britain did so well a week ago. They turned the ball carrier on his back just to delay the play the ball a second or two vitally. But this is Gower now. And the tackle completed standing up. Here's Walters again, looking out wide for support. It only arrived eventually from Smith, and Smith stands and gives it to Walters. He gives it to Nagus. Nagus gets the pass away, and Britain get it back courtesy of Aitchison.
Another bombed effort there by Darren Smith, but they're creating a lot of problems out here on the right. Nagus really is becoming a thorn in the British defence's side. They cannot match him. And it's put it down to that second row. Bradley Clyde running out wide. Walters got it away. Look at the evasive running there.
Offside against Australia, inside the 10. Paul Newlove, meanwhile, is still down on the ground and receiving treatment.
Well, I must say they really have pushed the official in the 10 metres department. Both sides eager to get towards their opposition, but you can see there that there's plenty to choose from after this particular play of the ball. Now, 4 or 5 of the Australians failed to get back to the referee, Phil Houston.
Britain in Australia's half again. McDermott carrying it up willingly, but again wheeled over and dumped to the ground on his back. Lowe's to Goulding. Goulding then to Farrell. Farrell thought about the little pass to Joint, held on, took the tackle. Here now is Newlove, fully recovered after the injury.
That's better. At least we're taking on the defence. We're going through the malaise that we had at Wembley. We're getting the ball out wide, but not moving forward. You've got to run onto it. Oh, they've missed it. They've made a real meal of that, and it's away is Girdler.
He is, and this could be danger for Great Britain. Girdler on the run. Inside it comes to Wendell Sailor. Sailor with all the pace, and Sailor's outstripped them all, and Sailor goes over for a try. Well, the second try for Wendell Sailor, and Great Britain were thinking about a try at the other end when the pass from Farrell went to ground, and Australia swooped, and in one movement they were up the other end, and Wendell Sailor gets over for his second try of this decider.
We said before the match that chances would come far and few between. You have to take them. On this occasion, they used the dummy runner well, but I'm afraid it went right in front of Morley. And up scooped the ball by Girdler. He kept calm. See how he sucked in the defence. Well, they said that Wendell Sailor was past it in Australia a couple of seasons ago. They said he'd lost his pace. Robinson couldn't get anywhere near him. Great try. They are so lethal, Australia, from deep within their own quarter. Good support play. Tremendous work by Girdler, the centre. He made sure that he committed the defence first before letting this man fly. And Australia are controlling the football. This is the situation. Dummy runner coming through, and you can see that Morley, it was just a touch low was the pass. This wasn't. He made sure it went over the top of the cover defence. See how he noticed he took the ball into the right hand so he could fend with the left. That is superb play.
All 3 tries to the wingers, 2 for Wendell Sailor, 1 for Ken Nagus. We thought that Australia would try and stretch Britain out wide, and so it has proved. So Ryan Girdler now, this is his 4th cap. 5 goals from 8 at Wembley, 12 goals in the 3 tests before today that he has played for his country. And here's an opportunity for 2 more points for Australia. Easy from that range for Mr. Girdler, and it's 16 points to 2 at Ellen Road, and John Lang is beginning to breathe a little sigh of relief.
Girdler waits to the last moment, sucks into the cover defence to him, back on the inside. Lovely stuff. Robinson couldn't get anywhere near him. Exceptional speed on display there from Saylor.
And Australia hunting the football from the kick-off. Great Britain penned in their own quarter. McDermott goes off and Simon Horton comes on. He had so many damaging runs against Australia last Saturday at Old Trafford. Can he come up with the goods again here today? Here's Morley. Tackled by Stevens downstairs. Tallis up top. Robinson now. Keeps the movement going. Goulding to Simon Horton. Cometh the hour, cometh the man. Goulding with the kick, flat, in behind the defence, turns the Aussies round. Doesn't seem to have the spark he had at Old Trafford, though, not yet.
Well, they're not taking on the defence. I mentioned earlier that at Wembley it was a big problem for them. Getting the ball out wide is one thing, but you must keep moving. You've got to run on the angles. And I'm afraid that set move where the use of the dummy runner, it's got a great try when Farrell threw the dummy went in at Old Trafford, but I'm afraid it wasn't the best pass from Farrell to Morley on that occasion.
Double change by John Lang. Kearns and Adamson comes on. There is Adamson. Walters gets the pass away. There's Robbie Kearns.
Pretty solid
of the Perth Reds. He's had a magnificent season back home.
Pretty solid tactics by Australia, using the forwards and knowing when to get the ball out wide.
That's a great kick, but look at the chase. Now can Aitchison get away from danger? Not away from Darren Smith, he can't. Oh, and he's lost the ball, and that's a walk-in for Laurie Daly. Paul Aitchison is still flat out, and Daly comes up with the 4 points, and Aitchison is obviously in some distress. He ran the ball out bravely, took the tackle, lost the ball, and by the looks of things, he's flat out and concussed. Well, that's a gift.
Tremendous kick downfield, but good positioning. Darren Lockyer really did get behind this one. Aitchison did everything right, but what great defence here. Daly comes through, and he knows he's dropped the ball. The impact of the tackle was sufficient. Smith went low, Daly went through him, and he lost it, I'm afraid. Impact time, forced the error. The Aussies are so good at it. He'll take that as a simple try, Laurie Daly.
3 at Wembley, 1 here now at Elland Road. And this match is already beginning to slip away from Great Britain. A match that had so much hope and anticipation, but they have contributed to their own downfall. Ryan Girdler 2 from 3, and right behind him Aitchison is being helped gingerly to his feet. He lost the ball and he paid the penalty.
Well, that really does add insult to injury, doesn't it? That the full-back was in the correct position, did everything right. But such solid defence from the Australians.
Well, there is a rare sight. A miss from that range by Ryan Girdler. So 20 points to 2. It's 18. That's the gap. And Girdler misses.
Well, it's like a mountain to climb up, but I think it's time for Great Britain to roll up the sleeves.
Sean Long comes on for his test debut then. And that was out on the full by Darren Lockyer.
Could that be the turning point? It's a bad mistake there from the full-back. Far too strong from the kickoff. Could this be a turning point for Great Britain? But they've got to change their tactics, I'm afraid. They really have not tested this Australian defence. They must take them on. More runs from the dummy half position. You've got to make sure that the Australian markers 1 and 2 are working overtime.
We're just hearing, by the way, Steve, that Paul Aitchison's switch with Sean Long has been classed as a blood bin change. So obviously Aitchison in the wars, and so too at the moment Great Britain. They need inspiration from somewhere up towards half-time. Can Goulding provide it?
Oh, another mistake.
Well, they're dropping the ball and they're dropping their opportunity of making history, Great Britain here.
Back on the inside, you can see that Sculthorpe just took his eyes off the football. More intent looking at the man coming towards him. Well, the error count is building for the British side. it will be not good reading for Andy Goodweather, coach.
Well, how come the Australians have made 5 handling errors, I don't know, but Great Britain only making 6. 6 crucial ones, though. They've scored, I think, off just about every one, haven't they?
3 tries off them.
Gower, and good running from Cairns. There's the big difference, 5 clean breaks from Australia. The ball went backwards, Lockyer's taking them on up the middle, and Lockyer goes away from Radlinski. Out wide it goes to Saylor, and Saylor is adjudged to have knocked on.
Not the best pass, but what wonderful play by Darren Lockyer. He caught one from his corner just as he offloads. Hunt really did go for him. Luckily for the full-back he missed. It was not the best pass, but the skills from this kid is quite outstanding. His acceleration from a standing start is just superb.
Well, Great Britain, as I said, need inspiration in this 10 minutes up to half-time. Sculthorpe. Looked a little bit high from Adamson. The referee, Phil Houston, said play on. Here's Radlinski. Good ball, and hit at some pace as well.
Problem is, there were 2 people waiting for it. They are not being kidded. Oh, that was forward. We're looking to get away with that one.
Here's Goulding now, and they're spinning it quickly through the hands. Farrell. Farrell drops the ball. Horton picks up. And Horton is scragged, but loses possession on halfway. And there's another handling error, as I think it's the Australian captain, Laurie Daly, receives treatment in back play.
Well, the ball came free, and then it popped up. Aitchison then, Simon Horton, should I say. There's Daly laying on the ground.
And he's called time off, the referee. He was immediately told by the medics from Australia that this is a serious injury.
Well, the ball popped up to him, and it looked as though Daly had actually accepted the football. And then, just as though it was taking candy from a baby, Simon Horton just plucked it out of his arms. And as you can see by the look of Laurie Daly, not surprising he couldn't hold on to the football. This is the switch, Farrell trying to keep it alive, and it bounces onto Daly, and he just didn't know it was there.
Maybe
collided with the knee, I think.
Maybe so, yes.
See there, maybe the elbow, either way. Oh no, I think he's been taken out by his own player. Robbie Kearns coming across and really hitting Daly on the head.
Well, Daly's all right now, but Great Britain lost possession, remember, via Simon Horton's mistake on halfway, so here's more pressure on this Britain defensive line, and that is Adamson again. This is Walters, gets the ball back to Lockyer, who fancies a one-pointer, Darren Lockyer. Referee takes a look, and Lockyer is given 1 point to the Australian total.
Smart thinking from the full-back. You can see no pressure applied. Could have made a cup of tea and then kicked it and still have time to spare. That is very good thinking, especially at a time when you know your captain is receiving treatment.
So Lockyer restarts, lower trajectory this time. Goulding then gives it to Chris Joint, his St Helens teammate and captain, and look at the way the Aussies in the shape of Negus and Ettingshausen close in and take Joint back 4 or 5 metres. And then Negus gets to Newlove, gets a pat on the back as well from Thorne for the tackle. Here now is Broadbent.
Well, we said at Old Trafford that the Australian defence was a little bit suspect. Well, it hasn't been today. They really have worked tirelessly.
Radlinski out wide, ball then back on the inside, they've dropped it again, they've given the possession away again.
This is turning into a nightmare. Some of the British lads are losing their composure, and that's always dangerous against this side.
Over 5 minutes to half-time, Britain want the sanctity of their dressing room to reassemble from the wreckage of this first half, but Australia looking to turn the screw further. Thorne, here's Negus. Negus just applied the brakes, Horton got a hand to it. Only he ought to drop on that loose ball, otherwise the knock-on will not be given.
Well, he was chastising himself for not taking the full intercept, but time and time again, the way that these Australians are being able to get the ball away in the tackle gives you some indication how the British boys are not getting their man down. It was superb at Old Trafford, but it's not there today.
And Horton was cursing himself, and we were nearly cursing him 100-fold then, but that's a great tackle from Radlinski on Ettingshausen.
More of the same, please.
Lockyer, though, gets away from one, tries to go through the gap. Horton is there, and so too Broadbent to close it quickly. Here's Brad Thorne again, and they're looking dangerous with Thorne, who gets over for another try. Great Britain, I'm afraid, are melting in the heat of Old Trafford, and Brad Thorne was able just really to stroll through and score that try. And Britain have got problems, massive problems here.
Well, they can only blame themselves. Far too many mistakes. And look at the ease with this guy. Just shoves him away, upper body strength yet again. Not the best attempted tackle. Getting over the advantage line. Goulding, he really should put his head behind and either side, not in front of the man. That means you're off balance going into the tackle, and you can see how he just pushes him away. We talk of the upper body strength of the Australians, and that has been shown yet again. Fine try, good effort.
And Brad Thorne, one of the stars really of Australia at Old Trafford. 21 tackles he came up with. And the prop forward from the Brisbane Broncos over for a try, and Andy Goodway knows that he has got a huge job to do in the dressing room at half-time to lift the spirits of his side. Andy Goodway, the British coach, who said it's no good losing a series 2-1, you might as well lose it 3-0. But after the victory at Old Trafford last week, must have hoped and must have had the encouragement to come here to Ellen Road for his men to take out the series. But Australia focused and totally committed to the task. Girdler, though, has missed another. 25 points to 2 at half-time, the worst possible scenario from a British point of view, a 23-point gap as we approach the half-time siren.
Well, you see how Bobby Goulding came out of the trap very quickly, did everything wrong. Not the best attempt tackle. You've got to put it aside, make sure you're driving forward. And you can see he was off balance as soon as the big prop forward got that football.
Sean Long desperate to make a name for himself in the Test arena. Robinson scampers away. Tallis gets to him, though. This is Newlove, and Tallis working hard, but Newlove running down a blind alley. Although he's got great strength, Newlove, and wouldn't be put down easily. Eventually he was by Daly. Now Horton.
Well, Britain have to change the tactics, got to get into a little chip kicking game, get it over the top, that'll be a penalty, interference. Daly the culprit, hanging on to the British player. Simon Horton, big second rower. But they've been terrier-like, haven't they, the Australians in defence?
They certainly have. Britain to lift the spirits with a try before half-time. Farrell gets the ball away, Sculthorpe. Crowd on the far side baying for a penalty, none forthcoming from the referee.
Oh, a stray boot there.
From Morley into the face of Thorne. This is Newlove with that great strength of his, but too many green and gold jerseys there, and Newlove is forced to the ground. Lowe's to Goulding. Goulding then pops it up to Broadbent. Great defence again from Australia. You think it was just 2 points in this test match, not 23. Knock on against Paul Broadbent. Another mistake.
Well, it was obviously interfered with, but you could see that Broadbent dropped it. We talk about lack of composure. They've just lost the plot completely. That is such a simple mistake. It is not going our way, I'm afraid.
Brad Thorne's coming off, a little bit of blood coming from his nose, so he's in the blood bin. And back on comes Jason Stevens for Australia. Into the last minute of this first half. Britain will be glad to hear the half-time siren. Saylor has dropped it. Chance is here. Chance is here for Robinson. Just hauled down by Robbie Kearns. Sculthorpe at dummy half. Morley trying to use himself as a battering ram. Adamson all over the top of him. Lowe's to Goulding. Goulding then to Farrell. Farrell out wide it goes to Sean Long. And Sean Long is taken out by a brilliant cover tackle from Ettingshausen. Here now is Joint. The Australian defence has remarshalled. It's with Lowe's and Newlove again, and still Newlove, and Newlove, oh, he's dropped it.
That'll be a penalty, surely that was ripped out. There was 3 in attendance. And don't tell me Newlove's picked up an injury.
Looks like he's got a problem. There's the half-time siren. Well, a quite disastrous first half for Great Britain. They conceded a try in the opening minute, and now they have Paul Newlove injured right on the half-time siren. Newlove surrounded by 4, and obviously he's got a problem. Newlove doesn't look well, does he, as he approaches the dressing room at half-time. And Great Britain's hopes are in a wreckage. Australia ahead by 25 points to 2. A try conceded in the first minute. One of 5 tries scored in that first half. And we look back on the important moments, and dear me, there were many of them from the Australian point of view when we return. England drew 15-all at Twickenham against Australia. Next, it's the All Blacks. More live international sport on Sky Sports 3 on Tuesday as emerging England take on New Zealand. And then on Saturday, it's to Old Trafford for the test match between the senior sides, exclusively live, Sky Sports 2 from 1. Here at Ellen Road, the decider in the British Gas Test Series has gone Australia's way in the first 40 minutes. And Britain now looking to salvage something from the wreckage of that opening half here. They haven't beaten Australia in 3 previous test matches at Ellen Road, but unlike Old Trafford last week, Britain have won here in test football before. 1989, they beat New Zealand 26-6. Andy Goodway that day scored 2 tries. And then, of course, they drew in 1985 against New Zealand 6 points all. High tackle on Adrian Morley, penalised by Phil Houston.
Quick thinking there by the skipper. Andy Farrell want to get on with it. Little doubt that Darren Smith went far too high. They need to try early.
And it's with Radlinski. Well, Australia hit Great Britain with a try in the opening minute of the first half. What price? A British try in the opening minute of this second half. It would be just the fillip that they need. As Lowe's gives it to Farrell. Now wide it goes, and he's through almost Sculthorpe, but hauled down by Ettingshausen, who defensively has been quite outstanding in this series. Farrell hoists the kick out wide, looking for Radlinski again. They've spilled it, Australia, but the men back there in numbers, and Girdler is able to escape the clutches of 2, but can't get away from Robinson.
Well, the Australians made a mistake there, but where were the inside? They really should have been supporting up there. 2 went for the jump, but no one was sweeping through on the inside. Chance went begging.
Big hit on Tallis. Big hit on Tallis by Broadbent. Here's Adamson, who loses it.
What a big hit. That was crunch time. Broadbent just threw himself into it there. And I don't know who's come off the better of the 2. They're both dizzy. He's fired up. That's what we needed in the opening minutes.
What a big effort that was from Broadbent.
Problem is, we really should have had something like that in the opening minutes of the first half, and you can see that Broadbent has come off second best. Bit of claret. That will need a couple of stitches, I'm sure.
So Broadbent goes off to a great round of applause. And this is the reason why. Clash of heads with Adamson.
Well, they put their bodies on the line then.
And it looks like Adamson is following him down the tunnel for treatment. So Broadbent goes off into the blood bin, and Mike Forshaw comes on. And Adamson similarly goes to the sideline.
Well, a much better start by Britain. They look a little bit more enthusiastic.
Here's Newlove. Goulding. Misses out one, and he finds Forshaw, who's grounded on the 20-metre mark. Bradley Clyde has returned for the Aussies. This, meanwhile, is Morley. Gets Britain to within 10 metres of the line. Now here's Lowes again, taking them on, James Lowes. Getting them to within 2 metres of the line. Britain being roared on by this crowd as Goulding finds Farrell. Out wide it goes to Horton. Again, the Australian cover defence in the shape of Daly comes across and cuts out the danger. High kick again from Farrell, one for Radlinski. Radlinski, well, it bounced. It bounced in the field of play and bounced dead. And it came off an Australian hand, I think.
Pretty hard to see which one it was, but it's been deemed that it has come off the Australian. Wendell Saylor went up, he's having a few problems. You could see that Radlinski had the chance.
And it got Radlinski before it bounced out of the field of play. It didn't come off this man, Wendell Saylor. But Britain will take any charity that is coming their way at this stage.
That was a chance, though. Radlinski had every opportunity to take that.
What a dropout. Over the top of Forshaw, he picks it up 20 metres from his own line and charges back, and then is hauled back by 3 chasers.
It's been a great feature, hasn't it, the Australian defence in this game. Well, what a debut for this guy, Sean Long. Really has been a wonderful season for him. Let's hope he can really sparkle.
Andrew Ettingshausen there, the number 3 for Australia. Well, penalised on that occasion with Ken Nagus, but he's playing in his 15th Anglo Test today. Only Mal Mening has played in more, and his enthusiasm, as you can see from that, is quite superb. So Great Britain with possession in the opening 4 minutes of this second half, something that they were starved of really in the first half. Forshaw.
Not only that, they're applying the pressure, which they failed to do in that first 40 minutes.
Here's Goulding. Out wide it goes. Newlove. Again, Ettingshausen, Nagus and Daly. Newlove again. They've gone the short side. Ball's flicked out. That's Sean Long. Well, he will let nobody down on his Test debut. Farrell called for it, and Farrell receives it from Goulding. Now they're loaded out wide. This is Morley. That's on the turnover. That's the last.
Tremendous tackle by the loose forward, Darren Smith. Farrell trying to squeeze the break open. There was a dummy runner back on the inside of him, but he opted to get the ball out wide. But again, this Australian defence is so strong.
We're not so sure that that was the last tackle. Our tackle count had it on the 4th. But the referee ordered the turnover. That's why the Aussies are in possession. Here's Tallis. Wrestled to the floor by Lowes. Walters, dummy half. Clyde.
First 15 minutes of this game, Bradley Clyde really did inject himself out wide into the attack, caused a lot of problems in the British defence.
Good kick from Lockyer, but it's going to run too deep. So let's go downstairs to Bill Arthur and hear the news of the dressing room chat.
Well, the news from the Great Britain dressing room, as you'd imagine, pride was the word that was mentioned. They're playing for their pride in this second half. Also, they believe that if they can get an early try in the second half, then there's just the faintest hope that maybe they can rattle the Australians. The Aussies, for their part, very much concerned with keeping things going, making sure they keep Great Britain in their own half, don't allow them the attacking opportunities, but Great Britain's priority is to cut out the errors. The news of Paul Aitchison, the Great Britain fullback, is that he's unlikely to return, having had a groin injury. Paul Broadbent, meanwhile, has gone to have stitches in that cut on his eyebrow.
Thanks, Bill. While you were giving us that news, we saw the mistake from Chris Joint, who simply lost the ball.
So many times that occurred in the first half.
Bradley Clyde was all over him, but Joint lost it as he got back up to his feet. Here's Lockyer. Newlove got to him. Nagus spins the ball inside. Handling errors are rising for Great Britain. The runner is Stevens. Lowes stood his ground. Walters, dummy half. Gower. Daly. Girdler. Great tackle, Radlinski. Ettingshausen. Smith.
But look at the ease that the Australian loose forward went over the advantage line.
He's hurt.
Got a knock as well.
Maybe he was kidding. Daly, big space ahead of Daly. Radlinski went for the intercept and he got a fingertip to it, but it's going to be a scrum for the knock-on.
It's a good job he did as well. He took the gamble. You could see there were two men outside him. That was always going to be a try if he failed to connect. Look at that, 3-on-1. There would have been very little that Robinson could have done out there.
Well, we featured him before the match started. Chris Radlinski as a young gun, 3 handling errors. Australia running the angles now with Clyde, and out wide it goes to Daly. Daly slips. Good job he did too. Steve Walters. Lovely skill. Stevens on the run, dumps the ball back. It bounces into the arms of Walters. They keep the ball alive so well, and Walters trying to squirm his way over the line. Britain's defence is stretched again. It's with Daly now. Back it goes to Ettingshausen. To Lockyer, and Lockyer accelerates from a standing start past one. Can't get away though from Sculthorpe. Smith is the dummy half. Smith taking them on his own. Oh, that's an easy try. That's an easy try for Darren Smith. Britain were found wanting to play the ball. Smith saw the gap, went for it, and touchdown for an easy try. We needed Britain to score first, second half. It's first blood Aussies.
You're always going to be in trouble if your one line of defence fails to move up. And you can see that the way the Australians kept the ball alive, that was woeful. First and second marker just stood off him. To allow a man from dummy half to do that and scored a simple try is a sin in rugby league. He had all the time in the world. Where were the first and second markers working? His strength got him over in the end. But I'm afraid our defence is now becoming threadbare.
Darren Smith, the try scorer for the Brisbane Broncos. His try at Wembley secured victory there. Although there's a long, long way to go here, his try at Elland Road has eased the Aussies towards what will be a 12th consecutive series triumph over Great Britain. Since losing down under in 1970, the last time the Lions roared, and the last time they tasted champagne. And at 31 points to 2 in this second half, I doubt if they'll taste champagne here today.
Look at that, first and second marker. They should have got this man. He had all the time in the world. They waited back again. You are always going to pay the price.
Joint, anxious to make up for the fact that he dropped the football. Here's Hunt. He's been quiet today, Alan Hunt, after his acts of daring do at Old Trafford a week ago. Forshaw, tackled by Tallis. Lows to Farrell. Farrell short ball to Sculthorpe.
Once again, they were waiting for him. They knew that Farrell was just going to offload.
Little dink over the top, looking for Radlinski, and it's come off for Radlinski. But the Wigan player's there on his own.
Nice option, though. That's what we needed in the first half.
Little dink through by Sculthorpe for Robinson to chase, but Lockyer read the script perfectly.
Would have to be Darren Lockyer, one of the best positional fullbacks I've ever seen. He reads the game so well. But neat little combination. Gould in there for Radlinski.
No second phase, though, Steve-O. The second phase of attack was simply not there.
It's a one-on-one situation, and we were shouting for that in the first half. That's good defence. Morley again putting his shoulder to the hard work, but this fella, he just sweeps up everything that comes to him.
That ball went backwards. Daly hammers it downfield, and he finds touch. Laurie Daly, just calm down, he says. 31 points to 2. Why should he panic?
Well, it came from the mistake, and they were not expecting it. Had all the time in the world. Been around a while, he's got the experience, as Eddie just mentioned. On his second in this match. They really haven't had to apply the pressure like they normally would. That's because of the scoreline at 31-2. They've been scoring tries instead.
Well, such hope after last week. 2012 winners last week. It was Britain's best win at home since Phil Lowe, the British manager, led his men to a 21-12 victory at Wembley in 1973. But after 46 seconds, Britain knew what they were up against here at Ellen Road when they conceded that early try. And the Australians have been focused and totally committed and tackling, as you can see, like demons. Lows for Britain.
There you see the difference. Bradley Clyde, the marker at the play of the ball, was quick to get to the hooker James Lowe's.
Out wide from Farrell to Long. Sean Long's looked dangerous since he's been on. New love, Goulding. Goulding hoists a diagonal bomb and offside, says the referee, against Great Britain. Ball bounces though for Horton, and Horton! Well, the referee has not given it. He's handing this on to the video ref. And he needs something checking out before he awards this 4 points for Simon Horton. I think he wants to know about the offside situation.
The high shot will prove it to us. And we'll find that Horton is in front of the kicker.
No, I think Horton's all right. It's these two, the two outside backs, Steve, who have come closing in. Long is one, but he left it alone. I don't think Horton's offside.
And a difficult one for the video ref. You can just see on the left-hand side that here's a kick from Goulding. You can see that those three players on the blind side. Now, as he deemed that perhaps Newlove, the man who was offside, you can see he just pushed Daly out of the way. Now look to the left. Oh, it's tight. Horton maybe just a few inches in front. Very difficult one, this. Well, if ever the rub of the green wanted to go our way, I think it's time for us to say, please, please. Look on the blind side. There's Horton just going out of your screen now. It's a fine one.
Well, we're all looking, and 40,000 pair of eyes on the screen, and the try is given. Simon Horton gets the 4 then. Australia not convinced, but Britain were. And so was the video referee, more importantly, and Britain get a try.
Well, we're critical of the British side not jumping for the football. On this occasion, it was the Australians that left it for someone else. Whoever that was, I've no idea. They just got in each other's way. Lockyer and Daly pops up nicely. Such a strong man, isn't he? A lot of people were surprised that Horton was not included in the squad for the build-up for this Test series. He was quickly drafted in for the Old Trafford game, proved his worth there, and has done it yet again. But I think it may be far too late.
Well, it's something for the British supporters to cheer. And Farrell now with a conversion attempt, and Farrell has kicked a magnificent goal. 31 points to 8. Britain rallying, and Andy Farrell trying to rally his troops for a big effort in the last half hour here.
To the strains of We Will Rock You, we need more of that very, very quickly. Because the Australians will just play out basic football now, use their big forwards. They do not have to force the pass. Simple basic football, the good kick and chase, play out the complement of 6. They realise that Britain are in catch-up football phase.
Thorne, who scored a try in the first half. Stevens has gone off, another one in the blood bin. Matt Adamson has come back. It's a reversal actually of the blood bin when Broadbent went off. And Adamson, after that clash of heads. This is Lockyer. They're still managing to get the ball away, though, aren't they, the Aussies? Surrounded by red, white and blue, but still the ball comes out and goes to green and gold. Bradley Clyde is withdrawn. Brad Thorne, as we've seen, he's back on the field. High kick, hanging kick. Oh, Radlinski. That was sensational.
Well, he's played his part.
He's had a fine series.
Has he ever? But the one thing you have to point to is this wonderful Australian defence. They have limited Britain making clean breaks.
Referee's unhappy with that. And Adrian Morley receiving a facial from Brad Thorne.
Well, not the best kick. Andy Farrell wanted to get on with the game. And that's the reason why it was given. But he barely made 6 inches there. Yes. On the kick off the side of the boot.
Sliced off the side of his boot. from the penalty. Big groan around Ellen Road. Britain now, though, over the halfway line, just with Lowe's. Lowe's taking them on at the middle. That's better.
He needs support, though. And the British side really should take a leaf out of the Australians' book. They've got to stand back a little bit deeper, run onto the football like that.
Horton's got support on his inside. He should have passed to Newlove. Newlove would have been under the sticks.
He couldn't. Andrew Ettingshausen had his arm.
Here's Goulding. They want it out wide. Goulding gives it to Sculthorpe. Great defence again. Last tackle. Quick play the ball. Robinson gives it inside. Stands again. Oh, they've given it to Tallis. It was Forshaw who tried to get the pass away, and he did, but only to Gordon Tallis.
Well, the support was there. It was not the best pass. If he could just have slipped it a little bit more to the right. James Lowe's was steaming in. But what another good run there by Simon Horton.
And there's Horton there doing the tackling on his opposite number, Adamson. Here's Ettingshausen.
See the experience there, running to dummy half very quickly. Could see that the British defence was slow to get back. He made a good 30 metres forward.
Great hack downfield by Smith. Hunt is lolloping towards it, and Hunt is caught in possession underneath his own posts. Smith chased that like a rabbit out of the traps. Long with a diagonal run, but Ettingshausen again. Mind you, that's a second snap.
Well, he's been extremely lenient, hasn't he, the official Phil Houston. E.T. had already completed the tackle, went for the second bite of the cherry.
Here's Farrell. Great Britain ahead 8-3 in the penalty count. They can't have too many complaints. Robinson. Jack in the box. Lowe's to the captain Farrell. Back on the inside it goes to Forshaw.
Good defence from Gower, the little halfback. Spotted him all the time, didn't play the ball rightly, and I think he's got him for not retiring the 5 metres in the attacking. No, he's got him for not playing the football correctly. Just rolled it through. Oh, what a time to do that.
British gas third test is a capacity 39,330.
Full house at Ellen Road, and such disappointment amongst the British supporters. It was lost really, Steve-O, in that first 40 minutes, if defeat it turns into in the next 21 minutes or so.
Well, I'd like to point to the first 20, actually. They really did rip us apart, our mistakes. Gave them a gift, couple of tries, but full credit. The tactics was good, kicking on the fourth tackle very early in the game, and this game's not over, as they say, but at 31-8, you have to think it still is Mount Everest they've got to climb with slippers on.
Well, with 20 minutes of the 1997 Super League season to go, we're watching the best two nations in the rugby league playing world, Great Britain and Australia. The Kiwis, I suppose, might well argue that fact after last summer's tour, but Great Britain have come back from the dead this year. And it's a much more committed Great Britain side.
In the second half, well, the crowd don't like that. They thought there was something to do with the touch judges on.
A dangerous tackle, Adamson.
Swinging arm, and the crowd are chanting off. You can see the right little short one there. I haven't seen much of that today. And he didn't take too kindly for Horton's arm. Run into the face, so I think I'll get one back. Well, the crowd baying for blood. Previously, there was a huge cheer when Gordon Tallis dropped the football. But to be fair, they haven't had much chance, have they, this crowd, to cheer?
He stays on, much to the annoyance of the Ellen Road crowd, but there was nothing in that, Steve-O. You couldn't expect him to walk for that. On again, Andy Farrell slices the penalty off the outside of his boot.
It's just not going right for the moment. They found it very difficult to get through this swarming defence who are moving up so quickly. Look at that. They're hunting as a pack. They're reducing Britain to playing one-out football for most of this game.
Is it 11-8 or 31-8, the way the Australians are defending? Hunt's gone without the ball. That has been the story of this third test. Great Britain carving out little openings, little chances, and then mistakes.
Not only a mistake, the swinging arm from Brad Thorne. If he'd have taken that football, perhaps we would have got the penalty. With the 30-40 metres downfield. But I have to agree, it's going to be nightmare watching for these guys on the video of this game. Not that they want to watch it on a regular basis, but I'm sure that Andy Goodware will ensure that they do. They need to. There's a lot of areas that they've got to work on.
Inside the last quarter of this third and deciding test match, the ball is flicked out the back door to Wendell Saylor. We want your view on the man of the match, 0891 66 55 25. And of course it's not available to our friends down under in Australia and New Zealand. This is Tallis. There's no prize on offer today, as it's our last appearance of 1997 with you. But make your vote, make your voice heard, and let's know who you think has been the man of the match. Daly. Lovely quick hands by the Aussies. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. That's a try for Robbie Kearns, is it? I think Kearns has got the ball down. He has.
Yeah,
no doubts. No doubts from Phil Houston.
Certainly.
Plenty of doubts on the terraces, Steve-O. Off you go.
He certainly hit the whitewash, but you will not see a better try than that. The build-up to that was absolutely superb. Watch for the hand skills here. Run from the dummy half, but you see how they keep the ball alive. Okay, it wasn't the best, but look at the upper body strength. Daly just flicked it on. E.T. again. It was always going to be trouble out wide. Kearns, he could have got it out wide again if he wanted to, but he wanted a piece of the action. Been a great feature by the Australians to keep the ball alive, but that final pass, super stuff, wasn't it? High shot. Sit back and enjoy this. This is superb skills, superb handling, drawing in the defence. See how they suck them in. As soon as Sculthorpe had gone through, Cairns said, I'm having four, and rightly so. On the whitewash is sufficient.
Robbie Kearns substituted Old Trafford, but he was very busy, 15 tackles. And a man from the now defunct Perth side who is set to join Melbourne for 1998, along with the newly signed Glenn Lazarus. Ryan Girdler, 3 from 6 in this test match. Make that 4 out of 7. And Australia now 37 points to 8 ahead.
The basic principles of rugby league football, 2 men going for 1 man, inevitable, the overlap will appear, and the try will be scored. You really have got to marvel at the skills of this Australian side today. They were shut down at Old Trafford last week, but they are not to be denied this afternoon.
Steve McNamara of the Bradford club comes on for Adrian Morley from Leeds. Morley, who has played as well as any of the forwards in this third test. And actually I can see Adrian Morley is still out there on the field. Have Great Britain got 14 men on? I think they have.
Yes, they have. They're trying to get one off at the moment.
Well, it's Chris Joynt who's coming off and not Adrian Morley. So Adrian Morley stays on and Chris Joynt comes off. But for a second or two there, we had 14 men. McNamara's little chip through, but Lockyer able to pick it up easily. But at least McNamara kept the legs going. He came in with a tackle.
Good chase, kick and chase there. But look at the strength there from the winger, Wendell Saylor. So it's a difficult man to get down.
Nagus, who started all the trouble after 46 seconds of this test. Britain was certainly caught cold. He lost that. No, he was not. He was stolen.
Been a big problem for the official, interfering at the play the ball, and it was deemed that McNamara was interfering. The rule states, of course, that once you've completed the tackle, you must roll away. You can see that McNamara failed to do that.
There's Robbie Kearns. Walters is the dummy half. Here's Daly. Daly to Walters again.
Biggest problem now for the referee, Phil Houston, is to keep a tight control of this game.
Ball was lost, but if the ball was lost, it's surely play on, because Great Britain got the possession. Why blow the whistle unless you think it was a penalty, which it was, because Sculthorpe ripped the ball out, but he's not given that. He's put the scrum down.
Little doubt that the loose forward Sculthorpe got the arm in. Frustration at this point. We're getting back to that point about let's hope none of these players just want to square things up. When you get to a point at 37-8, tempers can flare in the final minutes of the tough encounter.
This is Forshaw. He gets the ball away to Lowe's, who finds Goulding, who in turn finds Sculthorpe, and here now is Radlinski. Radlinski ball back on the inside to Long.
Well spotted again by the little halfback Craig Gower. Could see that the ball was coming back on the inside from Long.
Farrell, they've watched him like a hawk. He managed to get the pass away though. Oh, Horton got clobbered from behind, but still got the ball away, and Radlinski picked up the bits.
He certainly hasn't given up, has he, Radlinski? That'll be a penalty. Quick tap, get on with it, and Lowe's has done that.
Great play from Lowe's. Support arrives from Robinson, aiming to become a British player to score in 3 tests in the series, Robinson. Goulding working the 1-2 with Farrell. This now is Horton, who flicks it back to Goulding again. Here comes the reinforcements, off one knee, and Long puts it down.
Oh, a clash of heads as well. I think Maul has collided with Long. Well, this was probably one of the best periods of play by the British side. Oh, he tees
look
away.
out! Ettingshausen, who's been big on defence, is suddenly on the attack, and Ettingshausen's taking them on. He's got Negus, and he managed to flick the ball back, and Long picked up the pieces. Great tackle from Alan Hunt.
It's getting tasty. I knew it would. Tempers always flare in this. Frustration on one side, jubilation on the other.
It's taking away the credit for a wonderful tackle by Alan Hunt on Andrew Ettingshausen.
He sized him up perfectly. He used the touchline as an assist. He was waiting to suck him in, and he's got down on the tackle perfectly. Good work by Long to come back. He didn't throw the ghost. It was a pretty late effort there by Darren Smith. They all went in for it. McNamara didn't like it. They all didn't like it. That's sheer frustration.
And Darren Smith's on his way to the sin bin. So they are down to 12 men, Australia, and Great Britain.
Swinging arm. This is just not on, fellas. Come on. Why on earth? I think it was Robbie Kearns that threw the first one.
He came down on Simon Horton with the forearm.
Well, at 37-8, surely that's sufficient.
Why do they want to bother doing things like that?
Squared up time it is. Horton not too happy.
And the referee is calling Laurie Daly and Andrew Farrell to him, because he knows that this is an explosive last 12 minutes.
Went for him. Went for the head.
This is the one.
And then he just drops down onto him. Just a flop. Then he has another little go with the arm. It was a swinging one to start with.
Penalty against Great Britain. The retaliator is so often the man who is penalised in this game.
Well, will the Aussies run with it, or will they just say, let's calm things down and let's go for the 2 points, eh? But no, they're going to show their silky skills. And there's been plenty of those on display from the Australian side today. Full credit to them.
And here they come again, and Clyde has come off the bench and takes the first tackle. Walters, dummy half. Gower. What a great run from Adamson. Walters trying to pinch one from the play the ball, flicks the ball out the back door. Lockyer, lovely ball back on the inside. Negus keeping the movement going. There's Cairns, this now is Daly. There's Clyde. Oh, they've gone without it. But it's come out still to Wendell Saylor. The referee's not got them for the knock-on. Here's Clyde again. Steve Walters at dummy half. Girdler. Oh, they are. Touch judge, you have it. Well, the silky skills then suddenly became cotton.
Well, he wouldn't be able to weave other than magic or the rug over that one.
John Lang, though, a man who has been under intense pressure this week back home. Lost the grand final, of course, with Cronulla. Lost a test match against New Zealand. Lost a test match against Great Britain. Lost a World Club semi-final against the Hunter Mariners. I suppose, really, in this, his last test as Australia coach, he really had to come up with the goods, and he has. Lowes was taken out.
Got to be a penalty.
It is.
Daly not happy. He said he's only standing his ground.
And now he gets marched 10 more metres.
Foolish.
Well, he's got no complaints.
Has he ever? Certainly moved off the mark.
Robinson taking them on. Robinson dancing his way. Robinson. Well, that is the try of the match. They might have lost the test match, but Jason Robinson jinked and danced and dazzled his way to the line. And the man who now claims the record as the first Briton since Gary Schofield to score in all 3 tests against Australia comes up with the 4 points, and a dazzling 4 points it was too.
Mr. Twinkle Toes, he'll remember this for a long, long time. I will allow the man at the side of me, Eddie Hemmings, to be somewhat biased, but it is a tremendous try, isn't it? It would go pretty close to being one of the best in the match, but it was good work, good build-up. But Robinson, just a little bit of a jink. Look at that one, then another one. Good body swerve. He'll enjoy that.
And Andy Farrell adds the extras. Great try from Robinson. And Robinson gives Great Britain and their supporters something to shout about late in this test match. The best solo try in the match then.
I bow to your superior authority, Eduardo. As you say, we haven't had much to cheer about today, but I don't think that this big crowd will go away being cheated, because they've seen some tremendous football.
14 points to 37. Girdler and Walters off. They seem to have been making changes all day, have Australia, but Kim Morley and Richardson now come on.
Well, Morley is making his presence felt, and Gower looks at the official and said, "Didn't you see that?"
And Stevens now is having a go against Steve McNamara as Robinson picks the football up in his own in goal.
It'll be a tasty 7.5 minutes. No one's leaving their seats. Maybe the big title fight is yet to come.
Newlove steps away. Beautiful support from Long. Sean Long's on his own, and he's taking them on, but again the defence comes back and cuts him down.
Not just one though, 3 of them.
Here's Sculthorpe. Now Farrell. Good ball from Farrell to Forshaw. Great tackle though from Richardson, and he gets the penalty, does Forshaw, because of Richardson's second snap at the heels.
Beautiful play though by the British side. Combination out wide. A good break. He did well, Long.
Here's Horton. Now no complaint in the penalty count, is there? 15 to Great Britain and 6 to Australia. They can't have too many complaints about Phil Houston. It's a test match that they have lost.
What a bet.
Now, it's a test match they've lost by their own, I'm afraid, inability in the first half. Here's Hunt. Still Hunt, he gets over the line. He's held up.
Head and feed to the British boys. Still in with a chance. 6 more to go. Well, it's been an improved effort the second half. They've supported a lot better. The defence has been certainly better than the first 40 minutes. But again, the highlight of this match has been the swarm in defence by Australia. When Sean Long made that break, not just one cover man came across, there was three. They do work hard for each other.
It's getting tasty in that scrum. Steve-O, let's forget the first 40 minutes. It's 12-all. Second half.
You try to convince the Australians to forget the first 40 minutes.
I know, there's no chance.
They played the football when it needed to be played and when it counts most.
Referee is having the devil's own job trying to keep this scrum in some semblance of order. Now he's in the middle of it himself.
Lucky he doesn't get one. Well, that's fine, referee.
Penalty, Great Britain, differential penalty at the scrum. They must run it, and they are. Hunt went without the ball again.
The idea was on the inside run. Farrell, who has tried all day to marshal his troops and to make sure they went forward, but yet again, the final pass, he should have taken that, and he knows it. Chance gone begging for Alan Hunt.
The ball went dead in goal off Alan Hunt, and so it's restarting here with a tap on the 20-metre line. That's why the Australians are back in possession with Richardson.
Did well there to Richardson to keep out on the touch.
Cairns. McNamara doing the tackling. Gower was dummy half. That went backwards off Kimorley. Oh, Kimorley saw a little gap, and good tackle it was from Lowe's.
Interference.
Didn't play it.
Well,
Kimorley didn't play it.
Could have gone both ways there. You can see that Lowe's is still pulling him.
And receives an engraved memento and a cheque for £500. Today's British Gas man of the match is Australian number 13, Darren Smith.
Darren Smith has been awarded the Man of the Match title by the British press, but he's in the sin bin at the minute. And the Man of the Series has been adjudged to have been the Australian captain, Laurie Daly, and I don't think too many people can have a discussion or a dispute about that. Farrell.
That'll be back to 6. He got a fingertip to that, and the official hasn't seen it.
Oh, Bradley Clyde is able then to get up and go off on a run.
Swinging out from Morley. You could see there, it was definitely touched by Clyde. And the official has not seen it, neither has the touch judge.
He's seen something now. He's seen something now because he's given a knock-on against Bradley Clyde this time. Well, the scrum down shouldn't be there. It should be 25, 30 metres back the other way. Oh.
There's a swinging arm from Morley. Lower's got a knock on from that. And has lost it. Definitely. Squared up, eh?
Farrell gets the ball out wide to Long, and Long taking them on out wide, but Nagus did well. So did Long, actually, to stay in the field of play. Forshaw and Lowe's and McNamara. Now Sculthorpe.
Much brighter effort, though. They're standing a little bit deeper.
Where was it in the first half?
Well, they weren't up for it, were they, really?
Hit by a whirlwind, weren't they? Radlinski, Robinson again. Goulding to Horton, out wide it goes, and again, good quick hands from Great Britain. Good strong run, robust run. Forshaw is held up by Ettingshausen. I think Ettingshausen has been brilliant this series, I really do. That's a try! Simon Horton comes up with another for Great Britain. His second at Ellen Road. Simon Horton with the try.
Fully deserved as well. They kept the ball alive. It was something that was missing in the first 40 minutes. But good work by Lowe's on the blind side. He dummied to go out wide, flicked it back inside, and the strong fellow had enough speed and strength. You can see that E.T. was left all on his own. No first and second marker. He had to do it all. They were never going to stop him. Good work though by Lowe. Good dummy. Used foreshore as a shield. And Horton bags his second.
Simon Horton on after half an hour at Old Trafford and made a great contribution there and has come up with 2 tries here at Ellen Road. So Farrell, 3 from 3 in this test. This is his most difficult kick of the afternoon. Way out on the far touchline. That's the angle he's got. Not a bad kick. What a kick from the British captain. 20 points to 37. It is respectable. It looked in danger of being catastrophic at half-time. And Andy Farrell and Simon Horton, well, they have not thrown the towel in, and Farrell has kept pushing and pushing his men throughout this second half.
Well, they played with a lot more pride and passion, haven't they? They know that they really were playing awful in that first half. They've given the crowd something to cheer about. But I'm afraid the game was well and truly gone. The killer punch came from the Aussies early in the match.
Yes, the opening 20 minutes, that's when it was lost. And Australia have won the British Gas Test Series. They take the trophy home to Australia. And you can see what this means to these players. They were down, they were certainly not out after Old Trafford. And they have come back up off the floor and they have beaten Great Britain here at Ellen Road in front of an expectant full house of 40,000. 20 points to 37. Darren Lockyer had a fine game. Negus started all the trouble in the opening minute with his try, goaled by Girdler, and Gordon Tallis, well, he came into the Lions' Den and he has played his part as well after being placed on report last week. But they are thrilled to bits with this, the Australians. They are delighted that they are going home with the series in their pocket. The crowd, of course, you can almost hear a pin drop here at Ellen Road. How different it might have been had Great Britain won this series. They would have been dancing on the terraces and dancing on the pitch. Here's Darren Lockyer, who, by the way, is our man of the match, the Sky Viewers man of the match. There he is, he's with Bill.
Darren, congratulations on getting man of the match. I should think that start, a try in the first minute, was the dream start for Australia.
Yeah, I mean, we needed to get off to a good start last week. You know, we beat ourselves. I mean, take no credit away from Great Britain last weekend, but this week was a different story, and we just come out in the first 20 and, you know, we went well.
So was there a feeling of relief? Because I mean, I think people were trying to deflect the pressure, but did you feel under pressure going into this game?
Yeah, you know, there was a lot of pressure on us when we first came over. We were expected to win the series, and you know, we won the first one quite easily, and I think we just sort of laid back a bit in the second one, and there was a lot of pressure coming into this weekend. I mean, the Great Britain, they dug deep last weekend, and I'm sure they put in a great effort today, but you know, I'm just glad it's all over and the pressure's off.
Have you enjoyed your taste of the big time?
Yeah, mate, yeah. Hopefully I'll have, you know, a few more years to come yet.
I'm sure you will, Darren. Congratulations.
Right, thanks a lot.
Tremendous effort from Darren Lockyer, the Brisbane Broncos and Australia fullback. There's the skipper, delighted man, Laurie Daly, man of the series, Bill.
Laurie, how's your head?
Oh, head's a bit sore, but I was just wrapped, you know, to get a victory today.
It's going to be sorer tomorrow, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. You know, we played well in the first test. We let ourselves down the second, and you know, we knew if we cut out our basic mistakes and got our discipline right, then we'd win, and that's what happened today.
You told us during the week that you were trying to play down the pressure, the historical aspect of it, but what was the mood going into this game? Because there was a lot on the line, wasn't there?
Oh, there was a lot on the line. You know, we haven't lost an Ashes series for nearly 40 years, and obviously the pressure was in the back of our minds, but you know, we just focused on doing the basic things right and playing for 80 minutes, not worrying about the result. We knew if everyone performed individually, then as collectively as a side would do well.
But to do it right from the first minute, that's the captain's dream, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is, mate. And I mean, some of these guys are going to be superstars in the game to come, and it's just been a pleasure to play with them.
Thanks, it's been a pleasure to do business with you. Thanks, Laurie.
It always is, Bill. Thanks very much. Cheers.
It has indeed. Laurie Daly, brilliant captain's knock from him at Wembley, and hasn't he led his men superbly? What an ambassador for this game Laurie Daly is. And Laurie Daly now will lead his men up to the presentation dais to receive the British Gas Test Trophy from Mr. Roy Gardner, the Chief Executive of Centrica, who is the chief guest here. And the Australians, led up by their captain, to receive the silverware. Marvellous effort by this team. They maintain the record, a record that goes back to 1959 on home soil here, and 1970 since Britain last lifted the trophy. The new piece of silverware for this 1997 series is on its way to Australia with Laurie Daly and this magnificent Australian team. Well, muted applause, of course, from the Ellen Road stands. They so desperately wanted a British victory. But it was not to be. This Australian team hit them with a whirlwind in that first 40 minutes. And it was 5 tries and blows from which they never really recovered. But a much better display in the second half from Andy Farrell's men, and small consolation for the British captain. His 30 points in the series now has equalled a British record in a series set by Lewis Jones, who also notched 30 points down under in 1954. So 30 points for Andrew Farrell, and it is only a small consolation. He was desperately disappointed at Wembley, but full of joy at Old Trafford and full of hope as he arrived here at Ellen Road today. And now, I suppose, he disconsolately leads his men into the dressing room here at Ellen Road. Britain beaten in a series yet again. Australia completing their 12th consecutive series triumph over Great Britain since they lost down under in 1970 to Frank Myler's British Lions. So Laurie Daly, he will now lead his players over to a small band of Australian supporters who have journeyed 12,000 miles around the world to be here. And they will go on the customary lap of honour. An excellent display, a fine team, and Laurie Daly, Steve-O, a quite outstanding captain.
Big moment for the Australian skipper. I remember the youngster coming through when he was only 17 years of age. They were saying he will be one of the world's best. Well, he's certainly done that. And such a nice fella. Full credit to this Australian camp. They have bounced back. They were well and truly beaten at Old Trafford last week, and it's the mark of true champions to come back from a heavy defeat like that. But the skills that they have shown today has been outstanding. We have still quite a lot to learn from these guys, and I think that Andy Goodwin, the Great Britain coach, and all the players that have been involved in this series will certainly have picked up many a pointer. We are on our way. We are not yet as good as the Australians, but we are well and truly on our way. We are not going to go away. We are going to fight and fight and fight, and that we will do.
Laurie Daly, a real problem child as far as Great Britain are concerned. This is the third Ashes decider now in which he has scored a try. We were looking forward once upon a time to see the back of the likes of Peter Sterling and Wally Lewis. They disappear and men like Laurie Daly emerge. And I'm sure that there are many, many more waiting on the production line down under to roll off and torment us in the future. But the British game is in safe hands in the shape of men like Andy Farrell, and here is the disappointed British captain. He's talking to Bill.
Andy, it was really that first 40 minutes that cost you it, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, we just underperformed again. You know, when one side's playing really well, and you know, it's very hard for the other side to play well, and that's what's happened in the first and the second match. And you know, Australia's the better side on the day today, and they stopped us from playing. But you know, in the first 40, we was our own errors what put us under pressure, and you can't can't expect to win a game with 25 points down at half-time.
Salvage some pride in the second 40?
Well, I don't know about salvage some pride, you know. As the game goes on more, we start to gain in confidence, you know, the ball's sticking a bit more, but you've got to do that straight from the word go, and, you know, else a side like Australia's going to punish you.
And yet, you showed at Old Trafford, I mean, there is maybe the makings of a side there?
Of course there's definitely a making of a side though, because, you know, a lot of these lads are very young in our side, and, you know, they're getting better and better, and, you know, big performance again from Adrian Morley and Paul Sculthorpe, and they're very young lads, so, you know, it does look good for the future, but, you know, I'm sure that we can improve all round in Britain.
You hurt after Wembley. I should imagine this is a pretty sore feeling as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's the same old story. You know, we keep on saying that we're at 1-1 in the Test series, and maybe we can do it this time. You know, it slipped away from us again. But the most disappointing thing for us is not performing, and you know, that hurts us players.
Andy, thanks very much.
Cheers, Bill.
Indeed so. It must hurt them as players. It must hurt their professional pride. They didn't perform in the first 40 minutes. They got it together in the second half. But by then, the Australians really, with a 23-point advantage at the break, were almost out of sight. Andrew Ettingshausen. Sensational series from him as well. Laurie Daly, adjudged to be the man of the series, and there won't be too many, I think, who will dispute that. So the Australians will go home victorious again. Another series win is in the bag, and Ellen Road is certainly the graveyard of British hopes in deciding tests against Australia. Great Britain 20, Australia 37. Well done, the Aussies. British, they got pride back in the second half, and that counts.